Respect isn't something you can demand. It's something you have to earn by living with integrity, discipline, and a strong sense of self-respect. If there are any habits in your life that go against these core values, it's time to eliminate them. Only by doing so will you begin to earn the kind of respect you truly deserve. Let me be blunt. Most people will never respect you, regardless of how hard you try. You might work endlessly, go out of your way to please others, and still be dismissed or looked down upon. Why does this happen? Because respect is not just about your actions. It's deeply tied to who you are and the habits you carry with you every single day. Speaking from personal experience, I had to come to this realization the hard way. For the longest time, I believed that being agreeable, nice, and always available would win people's respect. But in reality, I was only shrinking in their eyes. The truth is simple. You'll never be respected unless you cut out the behaviors that diminish your value. I remember being caught in a loop, constantly wondering why I wasn't taken seriously, why I was always left behind. That cycle didn't break until I began letting go of toxic habits like constantly seeking validation or making excuses. That's when everything started to shift. Respect didn't appear overnight, but the moment I stopped prioritizing pleasing others and started truly respecting myself, the entire world around me began to respond differently. And here's the deeper truth. Respect doesn't originate from others, it starts from within. If you don't expect more from yourself, no one else will either. It's time to face reality and remove those habits for good. Only then can you begin to command the respect you were meant to receive. Habit number 1. Always making excuses. Let's be honest, making excuses is the fastest route to never being respected. We all do it at some point. You might believe your excuse is valid, that it's not really your fault that something went wrong. Maybe it was the traffic, or a coworker failed to provide the information on time, or maybe life just got in the way. But here's the harsh reality. Nobody cares about your excuses. People respect results, not justifications. There was a time in my life when I was full of excuses. I'd show up late and blame the traffic or something random. I thought as long as I had a reason, it was acceptable. But eventually I started noticing something. No matter how believable my excuse sounded, people began to view me as unreliable. Friends didn't trust I'd be on time. My boss stopped handing me important tasks. Even my family, in subtle ways, stopped counting on me. Respect was disappearing all around me, and I had no idea why. The truth? Excuses don't make you look responsible. They make you look weak. They send the message that you're not in control of your life. And nothing destroys respect faster than that. Whether you were late because you overslept or because of traffic, the outcome remains the same. You weren't where you were supposed to be. And that's on you. When I finally realized this, it hit me hard. I wasn't the victim, I was the problem. I had been letting myself off the hook and expecting others to buy into it. But here's something that's both liberating and brutal. The world doesn't owe you anything. People respect accountability, not excuses. I remember a moment where I was late again, and someone asked, "Why didn't you just leave earlier?" That stung, but it was the wake-up call I needed. Every time I gave an excuse, I was admitting that I wasn't responsible for my own life. And if I didn't take responsibility for myself, why would anyone else respect me? Excuses aren't just words, they're a mindset. They lock you into a victim mentality, always blaming the world for your failures. But once you begin to take full ownership, everything changes. When I finally stopped making excuses and started owning my mistakes, people began trusting me again. They could see my mindset had changed, and they respected me for it. If I was late, I admitted it. No stories, no justifications. People respond far better to someone who says, "Yeah, that was my fault. I'll do better next time," than someone who blames traffic or timing. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being responsible. The big takeaway? You have to stop lying to yourself if you ever want others to respect you. Each time you give an excuse, you're reinforcing the idea that your life is out of your hands. And if even you don't believe you're in control, why should anyone else believe in you? Respect is built on self-respect, accountability, and consistency. Keep hiding behind excuses, and people will see right through you. Next time an excuse tries to form, pause. Take a breath. Own the moment and move forward. It's a tough habit to break, but once you stop relying on excuses, you'll be shocked at how differently people respond to you and how differently you begin to view yourself. Habit number 2, being lazy. Let's not sugarcoat this. If you're lazy, people will not respect you. And frankly, they shouldn't. That may sound harsh, but it's the truth. You could have endless potential, talent, and dreams, but if you're not doing anything with them, none of it matters. People don't respect potential, they respect action. Laziness is the clearest sign of wasted potential. I used to think I could coast on talent. I was one of those people who could do the bare minimum and still get decent results, simply because I was naturally smart. But you know what? Nobody respected me for it. Sure, they might have said, he's capable, but they didn't take me seriously. Why? Because laziness isn't about ability, it's about effort. And effort is what earns respect. There was one project I'll never forget. It was a group effort, and while everyone else put in time and energy, I slacked. I thought I could just wing it, contribute a little, and still get credit. But when it came time to present, it was obvious who had put in work and who hadn't. The looks I got were unmistakable. I hadn't just let the team down, I had let myself down. It wasn't even about the project anymore, it was about my lack of effort. People noticed, and they lost respect for me. Laziness is incredibly visible. You might think no one sees you cutting corners, but they do. They notice when you're not contributing, not trying, not putting in your share. And it doesn't just make people disappointed, it pulls them down too. Eventually, they stop expecting anything from you. And when people stop expecting things from you, respect is already gone. Here's the deeper truth. Laziness is a kind of self-sabotage. It's not just a lack of motivation, it's a belief that effort isn't necessary, that comfort is more important than growth. But let me tell you something, people respect growth, not comfort. I used to think taking the easy road made me clever, that I was saving time and energy. But I failed to realize that success isn't just about intelligence or talent. It's about hard work, persistence, and showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Laziness is the opposite of all of that. It shows a lack of willingness to push yourself. And if you're not even willing to do that, why should anyone else look up to you? You can't hide laziness. It's obvious in how you carry yourself, how you talk, and how you approach life. People know when you're just coasting, and it affects how they treat you. If you're lazy, don't expect responsibility or leadership to come your way. Respect is reserved for those who consistently show up and put in the work. Habit number 3, neglecting your personal appearance. Here's something most people won't say out loud. How you present yourself says more about you than you might think. If you're constantly neglecting your appearance, don't be surprised when people don't respect you. I get it. You might think it's shallow to judge someone based on how they look. But here's the reality. The way you present yourself is a direct reflection of how much you respect yourself. And if you can't demonstrate self-respect through your appearance, why would anyone else give you theirs? I used to be one of those people who thought it shouldn't matter what I look like. People should accept me for who I am, not how I dress. So I'd roll out of bed, throw on whatever was nearby, and show up like that. I told myself I was being authentic, real. But in hindsight, I was just being lazy. And it showed. People didn't take me seriously. In meetings, I wasn't commanding attention. I certainly didn't give off the impression that I had it together. One moment stands out clearly. I walked into a significant event wearing wrinkled clothes, uncombed hair, and just looking like I didn't care. And that's exactly the impression I gave off, someone who didn't care. From the second I entered the room, I could feel the shift in how people treated me. I wasn't being taken seriously. I didn't command respect. Meanwhile, others around me who had taken the time to prepare their appearance were immediately treated with attention and admiration. That moment made something click. The way I looked wasn't just hurting me, it was shaping how others saw me before I even spoke. Here's the deeper message. Your appearance is a form of nonverbal communication. It sends a message to the world. I respect myself and I take what I'm doing seriously. When you make the effort to look put together, people notice. This isn't about wearing designer brands or trying to look perfect. It's about showing up like someone who values themselves and the environment they're walking into. Think about it. When someone walks in, disheveled, unkempt, clearly not putting in the effort, what's your first thought? Probably something like, they don't care. And when someone doesn't seem to care about themselves, people automatically assume they won't care much about their work, relationships, or responsibilities either. On the flip side, someone who walks in clean, groomed, confident, and composed immediately sets the tone for how others interact with them. People listen more. They pay attention. They respect that person because they respect themselves. It might sound superficial, but the truth is, appearance matters, and it always will. That hard lesson taught me to stop showing up like I didn't care. I began dressing with intention, paying attention to the details, grooming, hygiene, posture. And the change in how people responded to me? Instant. Suddenly, I was being taken seriously. I was commanding attention. Most importantly, I was respecting myself again. The truth is, people will always form first impressions, and your appearance plays a huge role in that. If you want to be respected, you have to look like someone who deserves respect. Neglecting how you look tells people you don't care, and if you don't, why should they? So take the time, put in the effort, show up looking like the best version of yourself. Because when you start treating yourself with care and discipline, the world starts doing the same. Habit number 4. Ignoring boundaries. If there's one thing that'll make people lose respect for you almost instantly, it's ignoring their boundaries. Boundaries aren't optional, they're essential. And when you dismiss or trample over them, the message you're sending is loud and clear, that their feelings, space, and comfort mean less to you than your own agenda. And believe me, that's a guaranteed way to lose their respect. This was a lesson I had to learn the hard way. I used to think that being heavily involved in people's lives was just me being caring. I believed that offering advice they didn't ask for, constantly checking in, or inserting myself into their problems was a sign of being a good friend. But the truth? I was smothering them. I didn't realize that by not respecting their boundaries, they in turn stopped respecting me. There was one close friend who started pulling away, and I couldn't understand why. I'd call her constantly, text her nonstop, and make her problems mine without invitation. I thought I was helping, but really was overstepping. One day, she finally said, "I just need some space." It feels like you don't understand that. That hit me hard. I had ignored her boundaries, and in doing so, lost her trust and her respect. See, boundaries aren't walls, they're healthy limits. They give people space to protect their mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When you ignore someone's boundaries, what you're really saying is, I care more about my own comfort than yours. And honestly, who's going to respect someone who operates like that? Let's go deeper. Ignoring boundaries doesn't just make you overbearing. It reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of what respect really means. Respect is more than just being nice. It's about recognizing someone's autonomy. It's understanding that they're allowed to say no, to ask for space, to have their own limits, and not take it personally. When I started respecting boundaries, giving people space, letting them come to me when they were ready, I noticed a shift. People began to trust me more. Our relationships deepened. I was no longer seen as the one who couldn't take a hint or who constantly crossed lines. This shows up at work too. Maybe you have a coworker who likes to work alone, but you keep pushing for updates. Or a boss who values direct communication, but you overwhelm them with unnecessary details. You might think you're being helpful, but really, you're overstepping their boundaries. And when that happens, respect quickly erodes. You're not just being annoying, you're showing a lack of awareness and care. Here's the core truth. Boundaries are what keep relationships healthy. Without them, everything starts to deteriorate. Trust fades. Connection weakens. If you can't respect someone's limits, you're not going to earn their respect in return. It's that simple. Think of it like this. Every time you ignore a boundary, you're slowly chipping away at the trust someone has in you. And without trust, respect can't survive. People start to avoid you. They'll stop sharing things with you. Not because they're rude, but because they no longer feel safe. If you want respect, start recognizing boundaries, both the obvious and the subtle ones. Don't take it personally when someone says no. Instead, see it as a moment to prove that you're someone who listens, someone who respects autonomy. When you do this, people will respond. They'll open up more, they'll feel safe, and that's where real respect is built. Habit number 5, taking credit for someone else's work. One of the fastest ways to lose respect from both the person you're taking from and everyone around who witnesses it is by taking credit for someone else's work. It's not just selfish, it's dishonest. And once trust is gone, regaining respect is nearly impossible. This isn't just a bad habit, it's a surefire way to destroy your reputation. I've seen this unfold firsthand, and I'll be real, I've been guilty of it too. Early in my career, I was desperate to stand out. During a team project, I did contribute, but one of my teammates went above and beyond. Still, when we presented the results, I framed my words in a way that subtly placed more credit on me. I didn't lie outright, but I carefully angled things to make it seem like I'd carried more weight than I had. At first, it felt great. I got the praise, the attention, and the recognition I thought I wanted. But the truth always finds its way out. My teammate realized what I had done, and before long, so did others. That respect I was so eager to get, it vanished. People began looking at me with skepticism. I wasn't admired, I was distrusted. Here's the deeper truth. Stealing credit isn't just a betrayal of others, it's a betrayal of yourself. When you do that, what you're really saying is, I don't believe in my own value enough to stand on it honestly. It reveals insecurity, not confidence. And if you build your image on taking shortcuts, the foundation will always be shaky. Think about the long-term damage. Once people see you as someone who doesn't give credit where it's due, they'll stop collaborating with you. Friends won't trust you. Colleagues will keep you at a distance. Even opportunities will start slipping away. I've watched talented people miss out on promotions and relationships because they got labeled as credit thieves. And once that label sticks, it's incredibly difficult to shake off. Taking credit doesn't just steal someone's work, it steals their sense of fulfillment. It's incredibly demoralizing. People want to feel seen and appreciated for their efforts, and when that's taken from them, resentment builds. Here's what you need to remember. True respect comes from being fair, honest, and collaborative. If you've fallen into this habit, fix it. Start by admitting your mistake. Give the person the recognition they deserve. Apologize sincerely. And from that point on, commit to earning respect the right way, by lifting others up, not stepping over them. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.